At the time I got there, it wasn't much conversation at first. I introduced myself, and he said, "I need your help." He said, "I have the inmates from the 5th floor of the CCC building, this 10-story building, had broke out of the floor. Had broke out of their cells, broke the walls down. When those walls big enough 3 people could pass through at one time, holes big enough. And they had come down the stairwell and were down to the bottom of the stairwell. It's probably 150 of them, just an estimate. And we're beating on the door, trying to beat the door down to come out onto the balcony where all the civilians were at. So he wanted our assistance to get them back up to their cell, to get them back to their housing area. So we got to the door, knocked on the door, and announced our presence. And then you could hear them scurrying back up the stairwells. At that point, I took the team in, and we went up the stairwells, made it to the 5th floor, and were able to talk to them and somewhat reason with them, get them to settle down, and let them know that we were here to get them out and things of that nature. And once they heard that, everything kind of calmed down. They were just panicking. They were just trying to get out. They didn't know what was going on. It was, I guess, the unknown was hurting them more than anything. Directly after getting those inmates settled in and settled down, we didn't really have a game plan or anything. We was kind of flying by the seat of our pants. And they called us over to the Templeton building, which was behind CCC. That's the what they call central lockup, if I'm not mistaken. And said they were having trouble there. That was a sight to behold. We pulled up in the lobby or the sally port there, and I jump out the boat, and I'm in about chin deep of water. I didn't realize how deep it was, and climb back up onto the steps. And the team follows me, and we go into the building. They said they were having trouble in the building. And we go into this huge dining hall or processing area. It was a big area, probably as big as this academy, and it was full of inmates in about breast deep water, just there waiting to get out, and the water's steady rising. I mean, you can almost feel it coming up. It was still on the rise. And so they were panicking. They were trying to get out. So we tried to concentrate our efforts there first because they were in the most danger, and tried to start getting them out. But I remember going in, we had our guns out, and went in about 15 feet into the building, and Colonel Slater grabbed me on the shoulder because I was in the front of the team and says, "This is not good. We're going into a bad situation." So we backed out, regrouped, kind of talked to them. Again, communication was the key. Once you talk to them and explain to them what was going on, I think they realized, or they didn't realize, they thought that they were just abandoned. That all the authorities had just left and said, heck with them, and left them there. And once they realized that we were there, and we were there to try to help them and get them out, then I think they realized that everything was going to be okay, and we started trying to get them out. We'd put like 4 or 5 on a boat and escort them to the bridge. From there, they would just sit until we would be able to get them out. Well, then after they sat on the overpass for 10 to 12 hours, then you kind of get the same effect. There's no progress. What's happening? Where are we going? Didn't have any water, didn't have any food. Mosquitoes were eating them up. It was hot. It was steaming. And so now you had the same battle going on the bridge. You get moving from one place to the next, and it's kind of like in a doctor's office. They move you from this waiting room to the next, and you get even more frustrated, and that's what was going on. And so once we were able to get buses there and start actually moving inmates off the bridge, then that really, again, helped a lot. But I didn't have the resources at first to do that.